Good morning, everyone.
Okay, guys, we're going to start in 1 second. I have a great idea of how we're going to
Good morning, everyone. If we can have everyone get seated and get settled, we're going to start in a minute. I'm going to keep talking until everybody quiets down. Hello, hello. Lashana Tova. I want to make sure we just do the security announcements real quick, and then we're going to get started this morning, okay? Hi, everyone. First of all, you've heard me say this each year, but in the event of an emergency, we have a number of exit doors that are all marked exit with the red signs, and we have the exits out to the lobby, and then out from there, we have the exit to the Cantor patio. So if there's any kind of an emergency, you know where to go. Do not go into the kitchen over there. Now, you can go to the kitchen, and then you can keep going through the loading dock, actually. In the event of a medical emergency or any kind of medical problem, we do have a medical room right across from the sanctuary in the multi-purpose room, and you can go in there, you know, even if it's a Band-Aid that you need, you can go in there. They've got some help. If you parked in front of the CVS or the Kohl's or the retail stores, you do need to move. This is a Monday, this is a work day, and they will end up towing us. So please go move your car if you did do that. And then please turn your cell phones to stun so you scare yourself and not us, okay? Thank you.
Good Yontif and good morning, everyone. 5759 has a nice ring to it. A new year, a new day, a chance to begin that special time of year of 10 days of awe, which we begin a process of introspection, reflection, and how to improve our lives, look back upon the year that was, and make note of the way we want to improve and make our mark in the year to come. It is my hope that this special Machzor that greets us this year brings us together and allows us for personal reflection and also communal prayer. This is our third year using this Machzor, a reminder that most of the prayers that we use are on the right-hand side of the page, but the left hand often has personal prayers that are not read at all. They are meant for you, the worshipers, to read at your own individual pace, and as you hear the cantor and choir sing, to come together as a community. So together and individually we worship and we greet the year to come. Page 135. One of the new introductions of this Machzor is that the shofar service will find its way 4 times, spread evenly throughout the service. And so those of you with children that you want to make sure that they will hear the sound of the shofar, have no fear. They will be coming in to join us on the 4th shofar blowing service, which takes place after the sermon, and they will also hear the shofar during their own service, which is taking place parallel to this one. And so our first shofar blower will be Michael Mayer. I invite him to come forward. We turn to page 136.
Okay, just the leader first.
Blessed are we, and blessed our gathering, as we open our hearts to the voice of the shofar.
Happy are we who hear its call to return, the sacred trumpet of Teshuvah.
Blessed are we, held close by an ancient sound that echoes Lador Vador from generation to generation.
Happy are we, rise into the joyful cry of a new year.
Blessed are we who hear in these blasts of sound the voice of community.
Happy are we who know its embrace, its season of celebration, its quest for connection and purpose.
Holy is the gift of community, blessed the act of belonging.
Stay standing.
Hear, O Israel, the divine abounds everywhere and dwells in everything. Its faces are infinite, its sources suffuses all. The many are one.
Tekiah, Shivarim Teruah, Tekiah.
Storyteller.
Blessed is the soul-reaching sound of the shofar. It proclaims the purpose of this day. Blessed is community, source of joy, solace, and strength to every living soul. Holy One, infinite your power, radiant your glory, unbounded your might, awe-inspiring your works.
Amelech, Yoshev al Kiseram V'nisah.
Eternally present, your name is hallowed on high. And the psalmist sang, rejoice in Adonai, you're righteous. You let the upright adorn you with praise. We continue on 141.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, ve'amad yivrach yirutei, ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon, uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael, b'galav izman kariv, v'yimeru. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei dekodeshah. Leila, Leila, min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ve'alema, v'yimeru.
148. Bring us in peace from the four corners of the earth. Lead us with upright pride to the land that is ours. For you are a God of miracles and wonders. From all the peoples of the earth you sought us out and brought us near to your great enduring truth. So with love we acknowledge and proclaim that you are one.
That should be your New Year's resolution that you're going to participate.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
We invite forward members of our adult B'nai Mitzvah to lead us in Be'ahavta. You're not by yourself, come on. Be'ahavta et Adonai.
That's the Kansas part, right? Good job.
Adult B'nai Mitzvah. If you are interested in becoming an adult B'nai Mitzvah, bar bat mitzvah as an adult, our classes will restart on October 16th, and the B'nai Mitzvah will be November 9th, 2019.
Time, guys, to think. This is the time to think about this past year and things that were
Continue on 161.
things that you did that you just, wow. I can't believe that.
The Israelites walked into the Reed Sea 1 foot at a time. What were they thinking about as the water rose up their legs, chilling their hearts, advancing toward their open mouths? We continue to walk here and now, 1 foot at a time, on our better days, forward. Alone, I cannot reach the far shore without drowning. Somehow I don't go under. The person to my right holds me up, something I cannot see holds him up. Blessed is the source of help, so often unexpected. I step forward. The sea is vast. 164, Demi Chamocha.
They would come to King Solomon.
166, we all rise for the tefillah.
Just the right answer. King Solomon also lived in this gorgeous castle. It was amazing. Not only was it big with hundreds of rooms, but he had gardens filled with
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Koni Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava
A basting
Zochreinu lechaim L'chafetz b'chaim V'chotvenu b'sefer ha'chaim Zochreinu lechaim L'chafetz b'chaim V'chotvenu b'sefer ha'chaim Lemancha, Elohim chayim Melech Hazer u'Mashiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah atah Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia Mechalkel chaim b'chesed Mechayei hakol rachamim rabim Somich noflim ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך על גבורות ומידות מלך מלך מביט ומחייב ומצליח ישועה מי כמוך האל הרחמים זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני
What happened?
מחיי הכל
It's getting better, and months go by, and pretty soon his nose is back to normal. The king
175, 174.
and
Let us embrace the day in its holiness,
in the
for this
castle.
day is the throne of goodness and power.
So one day, there is a
So let this day recall your power and ours. Let it remind us of our promises kept and broken, as we remind you of yours. Let this day be a throne of forgiveness, for today we are the accountants of our souls, the navigators of our hearts, seeking wholeness and new direction. And we seek you through signs of your presence in the arc of sacred history. God of ages past and future, God of this day, as you were with our mothers and fathers, be with us as well. And so let these words of sanctity ascend to you, for you are our God and sovereign.
Any more fake or real than the other. You, by standing way over there where Ruthie is, you have to tell me which are the real flowers.
And so a great shofar will cry, Tekiah. A still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, Behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you like sheep before their shepherd, as a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff. You count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny. You inscribe judgments.
Rosh Hashanah ikatevon, ikatevon. Uvyom tzom kippur yechatemon, yechatemon.
On Rosh Hashanah it is written, and on Yom Kippur it is sealed.
Rosh Hashanah ikatevon, ikatevon. Uvyom tzom kippur yechatemon, yechatemon.
How many shall pass on? How many shall come to be? Who shall live and who shall die? Who shall see ripe age and who shall not?
Kama yavoron, v'chama yivareyon. Mi yichyeh u'mi yamot. V'kitzo u'milo v'kitzo.
shall perish by fire and who by water? Who by sword and who by beast? Who by hunger and who by thirst? Who shall perish by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who shall be secure and who shall be driven? Who shall be tranquil and who shall be troubled? Who shall be poor and who shall be rich? Who shall be humbled and who exalted? But repentance, prayer, and tzedakah temper judgment, severe decree.
That was really good. Who could do that? I wish you would do everybody together. Today.
But repentance, prayer, and tzedakah temper judgment, severe decree.
Teshuva utefila utzedakah mavirin et roh hagzera.
But repentance, prayer, and tzedakah temper judgment, severe decree.
Before we sing Oseh Shalom, I want to give you some instructions. We are going to be going to classrooms now for art projects and snack. I expect you guys to be really good listeners to the teachers. No, you're going to do fun stuff. But here's something that I want to tell you. This is important, guys. Guys, please listen to Mommy. And Miss Heather, Lauren Heather is going to come remind you.
Entering the synagogue doors is not an easy task for all
We
of
are
us.
going to be joined
On these, the days of awe especially, we enter feeling a bit outside ourselves as we approach God in hope of teshuvah, return. Sometimes all it takes is a little letting go so we can let God in and access a sense of holiness. This part of our service calls for Kedusha, a prayer of sanctification, of making something holy. I cannot think of a better way to emulate the angels and their heavenly worship of God while tapping into the humility we feel at this moment, standing wide open before our Creator, the music of heaven.
You will be part of the celebration, but you have to act grown up, okay? Can we go in there? But we'll be all sitting together, all of us. All right, we'll talk more about that later. If you are
with my armor in place, emotions in check, and thinking I'm smarter or just more realistic, I sit with my frozen smile all the while, reluctant to trust what I'm told.
kindergarten first,
Cynically
time
told.
Challenging music of heaven to open a crack in my chest and let something glorious in. Music of heaven should puncture me suddenly.
Miss Shauna and Miss
Blessed,
Eloise.
blessed, let the music begin.
Let the music begin. And I sit there with dry eyes and cold hands, judging and standing apart.
Dry eyes and cold hands, waiting and wondering, when will it open my heart?
When will it open my heart? When will it open my heart? I hear you singing. I hear you singing.
I want to say yes, yes,
Say yes.
say yes. Sing holy, holy, yes, say yes, Yes, let the music begin.
Let the music begin.
Let the music begin.
Let the music begin.
We continue in silent meditation, pages 185 through 200.
continue on page 206 with our shofar service. Jay Poster will be our next shofar blower.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishma kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. תקיע שברים תרועה, תקיע תקיע שברים, תקיע תקיע תרועה, תקיע שפתנו ירוק לפניך, אלא ונישא ונישא, וששפתנו ירוק לפניך, אלא ונישא. מבין ומאזין, מבין ומקשיב, ורחמים ורחמים ורצון, סדר סדר עבודתנו.
We continue on page 222, Avinu Malkeinu and our shofar service. This time I'd like to ask that those of you who are part of our youth group, that you may make your way into the Beit Tefillah. Lana Gross, your fearless advisor, will gather all of you and you will have your own service at this time. So
Youth group, teens, anybody that fits that
8th,
category.
9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders into the Beit Tefillah. And those of you young at heart. 222, we call up Debbie and Drew Levy, Debbie and Steve Luce, Sheila Norm Kaufman, John Spare, Marcy and Jack Simon. You will make your way and stand on either side of the ark curtains. We will have, after Avinu Malkeinu, not right this, but after Avinu Malkeinu, once the Torah is taken out, at that time, Gil Hyatt, Mark Rubenstein, Rhonda Mushkin, Kathy Cluxton, and Michael Torjman, and Avi Alden, Torjana, will come up to undress the Torah. This is one difficult Torah to undress, okay? So, don't come up yet. Mark and Rhonda, you will lead the way once the Torah is actually taken out of the ark. Page 222, would the congregation please rise? Loving Father, infinite power, gentle, forgiving, lofty, inscrutable, Avinu Malkeinu.
Compassionate Mother, omnipotent Lord, comforting presence, fathomless mystery, Avinu Malkeinu.
Our rock and redeemer, life of the universe, close to us always, impossibly far,
Avinu Malkeinu. Embracing, confounding, accepting our frailty, decreeing our end.
Avinu Malkeinu. None of these are true, none of them are you. Yet we stand as those before us have stood, summoned to judgment, longing for love. Avinu Malkeinu, may these words be a bridge. They come from our hearts. May they lead us to you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim. Asei imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Asei imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Asei imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Asei imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim.
We continue on 226. When first we appeared on the stage of world history, a book was in our hands. This book, this sacred scroll, as we were told, this is very near to you in your mouth and in your heart. And we were told you can surely do it. And then we learned this is where heaven and earth touch. We are the people of the book. Through fire and mud and dust we have borne our scrolls tenderly as a baby swaddled in a blanket, traveling with our words sewn in our clothes and carried on our backs. Let us take up the scroll of Torah, dance with it and touch it and read it out, for the mind touches the word and makes its light. So does light enter us, and we shine.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kemasecha, malchutecha malchut kol amim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach,
You're going to take the Torah out.
Adonai
I can close
imlach,
the ark.
le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, eitiv avirtzoncha, et Zion. Tivnei chamot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chamot Yerushalayim. Kivecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim. Adonai, Adonai, el rachum v'chanun, el rachum v'chanun, erech apayim, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ותשע וחטא ונקה.
Good Yontif again. Our Torah reading for this morning will be found on page 240. This particular Machzor gives various choices. So from one year to the next, you may find that the Torah selected for the reading changes, but we are using the more traditional Reform reading, which is the binding of Isaac. It's one of those stories that, well, Jews have argued about since time immemorial. Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? What is right? What is wrong? Is Abraham being tested by God? Is Abraham testing God? Is it child abuse or is it a statement of faith? These ancient themes are as relevant today because they go to the heart of religion and faith, what God asks of us. And so read the story as it is read in Hebrew. Read it to yourselves in English. And perhaps later on today when you gather with families, you'll take out this Machzor, you'll discuss it amongst each other. Put Abraham on trial has been done many a time. And who better to put him on trial than our first Aliyah? And he's done so once, and I'm sure he could do again. Justice Michael Cherry and David Cherry. By the way, did you find Abraham guilty or not?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Rabbi?
Did you find Abraham guilty when you put him on trial?
No, I had to go against Oscar Goodman, but I was hometown to Temple Beth Shalom. So all of you who moved over from Temple Beth Shalom, welcome.
So actually, our first reading is going to take place on 238 if you're following very closely, and then our second Aliyah will start with the Akedah on 240. Mine too.
All right, Kelly Blumen is our Torah reader.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'karanu b'kol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vadonai pakadet sarah ka'asher amar vayas Adonai le'serah ka'asher diber Vatar, Vateled Sarah, LeAvraham, Ben Liz Kunav, Lamoed, Asher de Beher Oto, Elohim, Vaikra. Avraham et Shem beno hanolad lo asher yalda lo Sarah Yitzhak.
Amen.
Our second Aliyah goes to Stacy and Steve Lewis. Our reader will be Julie Arnold.
Baruch et Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Toratav. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Follow on 240.
Vayahi ahar hadavarim ha'ela v'ha'elohim nisa et Abraham vayomer elav Abraham vayomer hineni vayomer katna et binha et yehideha asher ahavta et Yitzhak v'lech leha el eretz hamoria v'ha'alehu sham le'ola al ahad heharim asher omar elecha vayeshkem Avraham baboker vayakavosh et hamoro vayikach et shnei na'arav ito ve'et Yitzhak beno vayevaka atzei olah vayakom vayelech al hamakom asher amar lo ha'elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emes v'hayei olam notah b'sochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
See my friends over here.
For our third Aliyah, we wanted to continue a tradition that we started last year of highlighting one of our special committees. This is the Social Action Committee, which also has as a subcommittee Nevadans for the Common Good. So we'd like that entire committee of social justice and Nevadans for the Common Good, all of you, if you are part of that committee, we celebrate you. We thank you for many years of volunteerism in making sure that our congregation continues to pray with its feet, to get out in the community, and to do wonderful, wonderful good. Our Torah reader will be Michael Mayer.
Vayisa Avraham et anav v'rav et hamachom mirachok. Vayomer Avraham el v'raav shevu lachem hok im chamor va'ani nar nilcha ad hoko v'nishtanecha v'na'at shuva alechem.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'chaye olam nata betotenu, baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Our fourth aliyah goes to our membership committee and new members. So if you are a new member of our congregation from last high holidays to this, please come forward. If you're a member of our membership committee, please come forward. Torah reader will be Jeff Wayne. Those of you who attend our Shabbat morning minyan know Jeff as a familiar face, as he is often the one who chants Torah and delivers the Devar Torah on Shabbat morning and does a beautiful job, and we're very, very proud of him.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayikach Avraham et atzei ha'olam, vayiseb al Yitzchak beno, vayikach biyado et ha'esh v'et ha'malechelet, v'yelchu shnehem yachdav. Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham avi, v'yomer avi, v'yomer hineni b'not b'ni, v'yomer hinei ho'ish ha'etzim, v'yah hasem le'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
This fifth Aliyah is dedicated to the memory of Gil Shah, who passed away a few days ago. He was one of our founding members, and we will tell his story on Wednesday at 4. But if you are a founding member, however you define it, within, say, the first 10 years of our congregation's life, we were founded around 1974. That first 10 years, if you define yourself as a founding member, please make your way up for this important Aliyah. Our reader will be Hilary Unger.
Amen. Vayomer Avraham Elohim Yir'elo Aseh Leola Vani Ve'alehu Shedechem Yaktav Vayavo'u El Hamakom Asher Amar Lo HaElohim Vayivein Sham Avraham Et HaMizbeach Vaya'aro Et HaEtzim Vaya'akot Et Yitzhak Beno Vayasem Otov Al HaMizbeach Mima'al La'etzim.
So those of you who've been here a while, you know that the annual tradition is for my back to go out every Rosh Hashanah. So I have come prepared for reinforcements for Hagbah. Jeremy Hutchings, you have that honor. And so far, so good. So keep your fingers starved. 246, we rise as we redress the Torah. And for that honor, we call upon Shirley and Tony Kaufman, Patty and Harry Sachs, and Paul Schiffman, if you would come up. Shirley, Tony, Patty, Harry, Paul, come on up. 246.
Vizot HaTorah Asher Sa Moshe, Vizot HaTorah, Vizot HaTorah Asher Sa Moshe, Vizot
Continue on 247. I'd like to call upon Yair Bereket for the honor of chanting the blessing for the Haftorah. The Haftorah reading will be found on pages 338, 339. We call upon Elaine Enton, Nan and Iris Spector, Alan and Dina Mann for the honor of reading the Haftorah this year. Yair?
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנביאים טובים ורצה בדבריהם הנאמרים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת וצדק.
Seek the eternal while there is yet time. Cry out while God is near. Let evildoers forsake their ways, those bent on wrongdoing their thoughts. Let them return to the eternal, who bestows on them compassion, to our God, who abounds in forgiveness. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are my ways your ways, declares the eternal.
As the heavens rise high above the earth, my ways are high above your ways, and my thoughts far above yours. For when the rain and snow fall from the sky, they do not return there till they have watered the earth, to bring forth buds and blossoms,
to give seed to sow and bread to eat. Just so is my word that goes forth from my mouth. It does not return to me empty, but fulfills my purpose and achieves the mission I gave it.
You shall depart in joy and be led home in peace. Mountains and hills shall burst into song before you, and all the trees of the field shall clap hands. Instead of prickly oaks, a juniper shall ascend. Instead of burning nettles, a myrtle shall arise. These shall stand as testimony to the eternal, as an everlasting sign that shall not perish.
(259) are the Haftorah blessings. Following the reading, Ayelet Blid, you have the honor along with Cantor.
אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום הזיכרון הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לכבוד ולתפארת על הכל. אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד, ודברך אמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל. מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל, ביום הזיכרון.
Our third shofar service is on page 264. Zichronot. The divine awakens within us. The divine awakens within us a sudden awareness of your presence. Seeing signs of your compassion, we say, God remembered.
God remembered Noah and all the beasts that were with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to blow across the earth, and the waters subsided.
When cruelty and hate diminish, we say God remembered.
The Israelites were groaning under the bondage and cried out. God heard their moaning, and God remembered the covenant with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob.
Surprised by joy, we say God remembered.
Then God remembered Rachel, and God gave heed to her and opened her womb.
Overcoming anger, finding strength to forgive, we say God remembered.
God remembered the covenant with great love, had a change of heart.
The divine awakens within us a sudden awareness of your presence. When we feel our kinship within all creatures of earth, we say, God, remember.
I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures.
267. God of remembrance, remember the covenant of our ancestors. We reaffirm it today. Remember, we are a people of noble ideals. Help us attain them. Remember all your people, all the nations on the road to peace. Bless their efforts. Remember with mercy the binding of Isaac, the sorrow of Sarah, Abraham's words, Hineni, here I am.
Ki zocher kol nishkachot atahu me'olam ve'ein shicha lifnei kisei kevodecha baruch atah Adonai zocher habrit.
Blessed are you, Adonai. You remember the covenant. You remember us. Our third shofar blower, John Anson, let us rise, 268.
Tekiah, Shivarim, Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shivarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah. Moreshet Sefateinu Yerah lefanecha, Eram v'nisa, Moreshet Sefateinu Yerah lefanecha, Eram v'nisa. Utchabel berachamim, berachamim uratzon, Seder, Seder, zichronotenu.
Remain standing as we turn to page 276. We call upon Fred Toffel, Melissa Toffel, Rachel Toffel, Sean Willis, and Alan Waxler for the honor of accompanying the Ark curtains as we return the Torah to the Ark. 276.
Eitz chaim hi lamochazikim ba, v'tom hecha me'ushar, derachecha darchinam, v'chol netivotecha sham.
All right, conjunctive. Raise your hand in the back if you can hear me now. All right. Raise your hand if you couldn't hear a thing the first half of the service. No, don't do that. We try the best we can. When we moved into this new building, I said, we got to have excellent sound. It's a good thing I pray a lot. So this is a special morning, and so I thought I would share just a few of the stories that have touched me or inspired me over the course of the past 30 years. I've tried for the most part, but not 100%, not to share stories that I've recounted before, nor stories of major donations, which thankfully have been meaningful and great, but rather those behind-the-scenes stories with insights into my rabbinic life, that of our community, and all stories are shared with permission or the names have been changed. You can decide. When my wife Joni and I first arrived, a week shy from my 30th birthday for our interview, and I say our interview because she was very much a part of the decision-making process to relocate here and to size up the congregation. One of the things I remember most vividly, aside from the hospitality and interview process, was walking into the social hall on Emerson Avenue. At that time, we had but a social hall, a gift shop, and classrooms. My office was to be a classroom. As I looked out at the social hall, one word came to mind: potential. I saw in that space and in the eyes of everyone I met the potential to create something special, a holy place where I could truly stretch myself rabbinically. Folks were eager for rabbinic leadership, and I understood that, modest though the building was, it wasn't about the building, but about the people. Even the name of our community, Congregation Ner Tamid, reflected that. It was never to be called Temple Ner Tamid. I liked that. Potential. At the time, there was a volunteer gardener and maintenance man. His name was Alfie. He was about 6 foot tall, and if he weighed 145 pounds, it would have been a lot. He had all kinds of health issues, and so he couldn't eat solid food. But it was his personal mission to help out wherever and whenever he could. He moved chairs. He moved them again. He brought the water. He did the setups, the teardowns. And his personal favorite was tending to a garden he had planted in memory of his beloved wife. There was also at that time a little boy named Andrew who would help him. Over the years, the two of them became very close. Andrew didn't come from a wealthy family. They struggled to maintain their membership, but they decided they were going to be involved to the fullest. His mom volunteered a lot. She served on the board and was involved in sisterhood, was a secretary voluntarily in the religious school. And Andrew went to religious school and had a bar mitzvah and was confirmed, and he tended the garden. Even when Alfie could no longer do this, eventually Andrew grew up and moved away. He became an attorney in Texas. One day he contacted me. It's about 15 years ago. He wanted to give back. But you don't live here anymore. He said, I know, but I want to give back. And so he set up a scholarship to help send one child a year to March of the Living. I'd like to think he did it to honor the memory of Alfie. Over the years, many, many students have benefited from his generosity of heart. At first, one may have thought Alfie was teaching young Andrew how to garden. In fact, by example, and by spending time with the young boy, he taught him how to tend and nurture his soul. Andrew continues to tend the garden of tzedakah, planting the seeds of generosity and love of Israel, from child after child. I once asked Jerry Gordon why he was so involved and raised so much money for the temple to build not just one, but 2 temples for our community. He replied simply, because it's necessary. Jerry would often tell the story of a gift for $10 to the temple. That was all the person could afford. Of all the gifts, that was his favorite. He knew that this person gave from the heart and was so proud. I had many such experiences over the years. There are so many generous people, many who are sitting here to this very day. But I admit there were times of disappointment when those who had great wealth refused to give. They had not learned the simple lesson, the response to why me? Because it's necessary. I remember the day before we opened this building. I was sitting with Marla, our temple president at the time. We were sitting in the front row, right about here. We expected hundreds of people to come to the big opening celebration and celebratory service. And as we looked up at the ark, way up high, there was a bird flying happily around the bema. At first we thought it was a good omen. And then we realized what happens when a bird flies overhead. This blue bird of happiness would somehow especially anoint the first day of this opening. So what were we to do? Panic could have taken over, but calmer heads prevailed. Marla said, "Motzi, of course." We went and got some challah from the kitchen. We opened those 2 double doors. The bird was up there, and we dropped breadcrumbs leading through those doors. I still like to think it was a good omen, a sign of creativity and a reminder that cooler heads must always prevail. The 2 years leading up to my daughter's bat mitzvah, every single student who had their bar or bat mitzvah reminded me that mine was coming too, and that the excitement and nervousness that every family feels as their son or daughter stands before the ark seized me and my wife as well. And of course, when the big day did arrive, Joni and I just knew our daughter CJ read from the Torah and gave the best speech and led the most gorgeous of services of any child in the history of Judaism. Rabbis, they are just like us. Similarly, when our son Sam was born and we had his naming ceremony, my dad was alive and offered a special prayer. In choosing the name Sam, I told my dad, "Dad, we know you're alive, but Sam will be the last grandchild. We want to name him after you." He was so proud and honored. He died 3.5 months before this building was opened. He tried to hang on, but one day he said, "Son, I don't think I'll make it. I'm sorry. But I'm proud of what you have accomplished." He died November 2006. We opened February 2007. My wife Joni spoke at our opening. She reminded me and everyone in her remarks that Papa was with us, and she was right. Joni and I have had our share of personal challenges. We prefer, for the most part, to keep them to ourselves. At times, I draw upon these personal lessons learned, and I hope that they have made me a better rabbi. But most of all, I hope that they have made me a better person. Many are the moments of joy we have shared, but so too have been the moments of sadness, where I am at a loss for words, and all I feel I can offer is to walk side by side with you in shared grief. We lose our fathers, our mothers, but when a child dies, it is unbearable. It has shaken my faith, and I try desperately not to let it shatter yours. With permission, I share a part of a story that is with me still. Ira and Nan's daughter Amy died so very young in a car accident. And when I heard the news, I was away on vacation with my family in Disneyland. Amidst the crowds and voices of people in the happiest place on earth, I heard the voice of dear friends who were in the saddest of place on earth. Their resiliency and love have allowed us to partner and help others who've lost children over the years. But I remember the day that Amy was laid to rest, and a butterfly flew and gently landed on the casket. My eyes met Nan's, and we both knew that Amy loved butterflies. She was there. In that moment of grief, we took it as a sign. Somehow, some way, the unfathomable would also be true. Nan and Ira would be okay. We would be okay. Love, true love, is indeed stronger than death. The challenges that death and illness and life struggles can bring to us teach us a lot about who we are. Sometimes they bear witness to this in the most intimate and yet unexpected of moments. In 2003, our Mensch of the Year honoree was Bernie Human, the famed manager of Siegfried and Roy. Unbeknownst to any of us, but that year for Bernie was going to be one of the most challenging of his career. It was 15 years ago on October 3rd, 2003, that legendary illusionist Roy Hearn was hurt in a terrible incident during their incredible world-renowned show. Injured by one of their famous tigers, it was unclear whether Roy would live or die. And even if he lived, having lost so much blood, it was uncertain whether he would be restored to a life worth living. Literally millions upon millions from around the world sent their prayers and awaited news. 2 days later, Bernie came up to the bima for his traditional honor on Yom Kippur. He gave me a hug, and he whispered in my ear, "Roy is going to live. Thank God Almighty, Roy is going to live." Over the years, many have whispered something in my ear, secrets from their world to mine, perhaps a way of sharing, perhaps a way of making sure that their prayer message makes its way without getting lost. I worry not about the message being lost, but about the person being lost. That when faced with crisis, that person's faith might crumble. But few could face such a challenge. I looked on the bima, and besides Bernie, there stood 2 others, both men for many years who had blown the shofar for our congregation. One was Jay, who worked, as many know, at King David Mortuary. The other was John, who is a specialized neurosurgeon. And John was one of those physicians who worked on Roy to save his life. There was Jay, there was Bernie, there was John. At that moment, in my rabbinic mind, I saw the words of the Machzor come to fruition. Unatana Tokef, Kedushat Hayom. Let us proclaim the awesome power of this day. On Rosh Hashanah, it is written. And on Yom Kippur, our fates are sealed. Who shall live and who shall die? Those words haunted me, and I am sure they touched Bernie, the son of a Russian Orthodox rabbi, first-generation American. In an instant, his life changed, and so too did the life of one of his dearest friends. Whispers to God. At one time or another, each one of us, like Hannah in the Bible, has uttered such soft-spoken words. Please, God, let my loved one be written into the book of life. Please, God. It has been my honor to hear these whispers from time to time. Few touched me as much as Bernie's. Roy is going to live. Whispers to God, an honor to hear for sure. An even greater honor to be there when God whispers back. When I came up with the idea of having Christy sing for Yisker, Her husband Al and I were talking about it and what the song might be. I thought it should be, a special song with a message and sentimental theme. And Al and I were on the water having a relaxing time on a small boat. He said, "Rabbi, I got just the song." And he pointed over there to some music. So I made my way over to the music and picked up the piece of paper, and I began to read the lyrics silently to myself. They were the most sexy and sensual song lyrics that it made me blush. Alan looked at me, "What's wrong, Rabbi?" Now what do I do? Alan, I'm not sure that this is what I had in mind for Yisker. Alan took the paper from me. He said, "No, not that song. We're using that for some concert we're doing." To this day, he razzes me about my reaction. Talk about your awkward moments. Crisis averted. Cooler heads and common sense prevailed. When I had the idea for the Shabbatones, I had the idea of a band that would wear dark sunglasses and they would wear a tallis. We would call the group the Talasim. I loved it. Apparently no one else did. So a contest was held and Megan's idea won out. And the name Shabbatones has been with us ever since. And I guess they don't wear tallises either. You get some strange requests being a rabbi in Las Vegas. A voice on the other end of the phone. "Are you Rabbi Axelrod?" "Yep, last time I checked." "Well, I'm a concierge at the Mirage. I'm looking for a rabbi who would marry a couple in a hot air balloon as it flies over the Las Vegas Strip." "Oh, and one more thing. I believe it will take place on Rosh Hashanah. Is that a problem?" Voice on the other end of the phone. "Hello, is this Rabbi Axelrod?" "Yep, last time I checked." "This is the concierge at the Hilton Hotel. There is a couple who would like to get married." "Oh, tell me a bit more." "They want to get married in the Star Trek experience aboard the Starship Enterprise." Sorry, I wasn't inclined to beam myself aboard for that wedding. "Hello, is this Rabbi Axelrod?" "Yep, last time I checked." "This is the concierge at the MGM. We are looking for a rabbi to do a wedding on such and such a date." "Oh yeah? Tell me more." "Well, they're big Elvis fans, and they were wondering whether you would mind dressing up as Elvis to do the ceremony." By the way, of all the stories, that's the one that's not true. Some stories I have found are still fun to tell, even when they're not true. After all, when I first moved to Las Vegas, I would go to a rabbinical convention. Pretty much that is what my colleagues thought about a rabbi in Las Vegas. Over time, views of Las Vegas changed, and hopefully of me as well. Especially when I became president of one of the largest rabbinical organizations in America, the Pacific Area Reform Rabbis. I'd like to think I set my colleagues straight. A rabbi in Las Vegas. He is just like us. We used to have a Shomer Torah award. I hit upon the idea that the child who attended religious school the most would receive the honor of holding a small Torah at Kol Nidre Family Services and would receive a special Guardian of the Torah award. The first recipient was Jolie. She would go on to become an incredible youth advisor, teacher in our school, board member, and the head of the ADL in Las Vegas. She continues to guard the Torah with great passion. And like so many of my students, has made me proud. Billy, Bella, Cookie, Joel, Ben, Megan, Don, Joey, Liza, Melissa, Jessica, Jordan, and Becky. These are just some of the students and congregants who have gone on to become Jewish professionals, rabbis and cantors and Jewish communal service professionals in service to our community. We are so fortunate. Our future is in good hands. We are so fortunate. Sermons are a 2,000-year-old art form. Since the very beginning, the written words of the Torah called for oral interpretation. Even in the Bible, we read about the Israelites gathering at the marketplace, listening to the word of God, translated into the vernacular to a population that had become so assimilated that they no longer understood the ancient Hebrew words. I've given many a sermon over the years, too many to count. I once learned in seminary that every rabbi actually has one, maybe two sermons in them, and the rest are just variations upon theme. I guess if I had to pick one theme, it would be this: stand tall. Stand tall to me means stand tall and proud that you're Jewish. Stand tall, stand up for justice. Stand tall and have a sense of self-worth and do the right thing. It's not easy to talk about doing the right thing, especially in a climate that has become increasingly divisive. Sometimes I feel folks love my sermons because they agree with everything I've said, and they hate them when they disagree. Despite what some folks may think, I tend to stray away from political sermons. I don't speak as a Democrat or a Republican or Libertarian or Independent. I speak on issues as my heart and head calls me to speak out. I worry that silence on important moral issues of the day make me somehow complicit, especially as a post-Holocaust Jew. Oftentimes, silence is not an option. And yet I am aware that there are those who find it hard to hear perspectives different than their own. And there are those who worry that if I say something that upsets a congregant, that they will quit. And they do. And guess what? There are those who quit because I haven't spoken up. I just wish folks had a thicker skin, open minds, and understood whether I talk about the theme of kindness, tzedakah, Israel, or the treatment of immigrant children separated from their families, or the danger of embracing the likes of a Louis Farrakhan into mainstream political life. It all goes back to my one sermon: to stand tall and pursue justice with all of our hearts. For a while, we had a nice tradition going on in the high holidays. Jay and Jeremy, father and son, and John and Naya, father and daughter, they were pairs who would come and blow the shofar. Naya was the youngest, and she might have practiced the hardest, hard to say. But each year it seemed there was a little, shall we say, something going on. When it would come to the Tekiah Gedolah, each one would blow and blow and blow, each one trying to outdo the other. One year it would be Jay, one year it would be John. It was a playful rivalry. But young Naya, she wanted to win. And John and I would tell her, Naya, it's not a competition. It's about the mitzvah. And John and I would look at each other with a wink and a smile. And the years would come and go, and we would remind Naya, it's not a competition. It's about the mitzvah. Until one year, her Tekiah Gedolah lasted the longest. Oh, was she proud of herself. The years would come and go. This past year, our little Naya, now an adult, made a big decision. She made Aliyah to Israel. She is now in the Israeli Armed Forces. Suffice it to say, Naya learned, it's not a competition. It's about the mitzvah. If there is anything I have learned, my friends, it's moments when I am discouraged and times when I might lose heart, when faith is shaken or a little bird threatens to spoil a grand day. A butterfly comes out of nowhere, gives me heart. It reminds me it's about the mitzvah. It's always been about the mitzvah. Why? Because as a rabbi and as a Jew, I know deep down it's necessary. My wife Joni has shown me and our congregation tremendous patience, love, advice, and support for more years than I can count. These stories are not just stories to us. They are part of the fabric of our lives and our marriage. From the decision to be here originally to the decision to stay here to the caring ear that listened to these stories first, and in some cases over and over and over, and her special part in determining the narrative of these stories. I, and indeed we, must all be grateful. My children, CJ and Sam, and now Anna, little Genevieve. My family of my mom and sisters, represented here by my sister Lisa, have given me more pride and joy than any one person could imagine. Rabbis are often the ones in the limelight, but the purest light shines on those who do not seek attention. A family that loves you and supports you. That goes for our staff and lay leaders who put in countless hours as well to ensure not only my success, but the success of our entire community, and that the vision of a temple that welcomes everyone on their Jewish journey, do the right thing, stand tall, and learn the importance of doing a mitzvah in a world too often distracted by other things. Everyone on my staff has made me proud. Cantor Hutchings, a product of our temple, has made me especially proud as an incredible partner and source of creativity and joy. Together we have an abundance of ideas and suggestions. Sometimes I find myself struggling to keep up. And then I get an idea, and she struggles to keep up. In the end, it's not a competition. It's about the mitzvah. My voice may be off-key, but together we make the best harmony I could ever ask for. 30 years. It's a long time. It's gone by in a heartbeat, and there are more stories yet to be told. And one congregant in particular, Marilyn, will be out there timing me as I tell them. But don't worry, I'm not retiring anytime soon. There are milestones that greet us and give us pause to reflect about who we are and what we have accomplished. I felt 30 years was such a moment, and I look forward to many, many more years of service to you. Elie Wiesel once wrote, God made man because he loves stories. I agree. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your story. Conjunctive. All right, the kids come in for reinforcements here. Our fourth Torah service, Jay Poster, John Anson, Michael Mayer. $279. Misery for breakfast, morning coffee with the news of distant deaths, because someone's always suffering, and there's bound to be a crisis raging somewhere, or a quieter catastrophe barely at the threshold of our notice. We're accustomed to the feeling of something gone wrong, like static in the background, tuned out so we can get on with our day, and it's just the same as yesterday, and nothing can be done, though there's not much point in getting too upset.
But if something were to shock us, like a baby's piercing wail or a fire bell in the night, like a punch in the stomach or a puncture in the eardrum, like a savage call to conscience or a frantic cry for help, would we scream like a shofar and get mad enough to act? When a ram's horn is sounded in a city, do the people not take alarm?
We rise as we turn to page 284.
Baruch atah Adonai shomea kol teruat Amo Yisrael b'rachamim.
Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel.
Tekiah Shivarim Teruah Tekiah Tekiah Shivarim Tekiah Tekiah Teruah Tekiah Gedolah.
We remain standing as we turn to 286. Elisa Nave Worth, Rob Worth, Lori, and Mark Cabins have the honor of accompanying the art curtains for the Aleinu. $286.
אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים
Please be seated. In a moment, we'll have Kaddish. I don't want that to be a signal to some of you going, oh, we got to leave early to make sure we can make our way to the car. It's a secret, but there's supposed to be something special in my honor. So stay put. It's a secret, though.
He's been trying to figure it out for weeks.
All right? So don't go anywhere. 292. We say Kaddish for those who have died in recent days: George Levine, Al Nako, Becca Ogburn, Francis Maggio, Sidney Miller, Marianne Green, Mark Vogel, Harry Dvorak, Mary Moreno, and Gil Shaw. We recall the Yortzites of Sylvia Adler, Samuel Bass, Neil Bryn, Herman Kernahamias, Janet Kavadlo, Warren Davis, Nikki Devine, Milton Friedman, Estelle Ginsberg, Paul Goldstein, Adolf Greif, Fanny Greif, Edith Hirsch, Irv Haytal, Thomas Lee Hoffman, Irving Kestenbaum, Nathan Landsberg, Joseph Lang, Erwin Lieberman, Frank Linden, Minnie Mendelson, Jack Miller, Irene McConey, Manny Pogash, Joseph Polinsky, Fern Premack, Mary Ripley, Winifred Roth, Sylvia Rubin, Bernard Sherman, Shelley Shorenstein, Ruth Siegel, and Lorelei Voynich. If you would like to say the name of someone who is not mentioned for Kaddish or Yortzeit, please stand and say their name. Please say the name as I look in your direction. As we think of these and others who have touched our hearts, we rise to recite our Kaddish prayer. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed achol beit Yisrael magalav izman kari v'imru amen Yeheshmei rabbi mavorach le'olam u'me'el maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekusha barichu Leila v'leila mikol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiram v'alma v'imru amen Yeheshlo maraba mitzrayim v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Osei shalom b'imramav hu yasei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. We join together now in the Kiddush and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Okay, I need all my friends' help for the motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Take a big huge piece and then split it up.
We turn the service over to Mindy for a word of
Take a
Yontif
giant
greeting.
piece and then split it up.
Hello again, everyone. Oh. We have no sound. Neil, I think you have to start it over again. We don't have the sound.
All right, hopefully someone got the Nitty Kids from the Beit Tefillah too. Did you? Okay.
No. No sound. Still no sound. Okay.
That's us.
We may have to show the video another time. So what I'd like to do at this point, because we don't have the video, if Neil figures it out, we might actually go ahead and run the video. But what I want to do is go ahead and give you the announcements real quick, and then I'm going to ask a few people to come up. First of all, just before we end our service today and we do our special event, I want to thank our BEMA guests. Of course, we had Jolie Brislin, Deanna DeArkland, and Beth Miller to my left over here. All three are trustees on the board, and you heard about Jolie and our history, so we have our history on the board. Rabbi Axelrod and Cantor Hutchings, thank you so much for the beautiful Rosh Hashanah service. Our accompanist, Ricky Reinhardt, of course, thank you. Thank you to Barbara Siegel, our director. Thank you to our adult choir. Thank you to our youth and our teen choir. Thank you very much. Everybody was great. Thank you to Jeff LeBeau, who is out there. You are wonderful as always. And thank you to our chauffeur blowers, Michael Mayer, Jay Poster, and John Anson. And of course, Alex Hill on sound, and Sam Friend, who came and made some sound adjustments this morning. So thank you to Sam. There are always a lot of people to thank. There is a poster out there. I mentioned this last night, but there is a poster board out there with all the names of everybody who makes everything happen around here. We've got our sisterhood, our mensch club, our volunteers, our greeters, our ushers. We've got everyone, and everyone's names and everybody is out there. So please take a look at that when you're in the main lobby. Our Tashlich service, so what's going to happen is after we do what we're about to do, our Tashlich service is at 1:45. It's really just as fast as you can get over to the park and get changed and get over to the park and what have you. And bring your four-legged friends. They are welcome. We're going to be, bring lunch. Bring your own lunch, and then we're going to be eating as a community out there. And following that will be a special, meaningful service right at the Cottonwood Pavilion at the lake right there. Okay? And then mark your calendars. We've got a couple of things. The Kever de Rote at the King David is on September 16th at 2:30. That's sponsored by King David and the Board of Rabbis. That will be happening on September 16th. And then on October 1st is our unveiling of the memorial plaques out here in our healing area with an October 1st tribute. Will be reflective time to show respect towards the loved ones we've lost, and we'll be unveiling those plaques at 7 p.m. Okay? With that, Lashana Tova. Now, let me very quickly introduce, do we have that video? I don't know if Neil found that video. I think I'm going to introduce Lisa Axelrod at this moment.
Good Yontov. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. So my brother has 3 sisters, and I'm the kid sister. And one thing I love doing with them is live long and prosper. And so I've been asked to give a few minutes of speech, and if I'm an Axelrod, I could be speaking a half hour. So really, I'll keep it to a few minutes. My role here is to talk about my brother. Really, what you see is who he is, who he's always been. He's been witty, he's been fun, he also tells those jokes. He was a spiritual leader, I think, from the day he was born. And the conversations that he had with my father and even with my mother really helped guide him. When you're a rabbi, you go to school, it seems like indefinitely. And then, of course, you're always learning. And it takes a certain kind of man or woman, glad they have women as well, who are willing to do that. Not everybody's willing to do that. I've been to many congregations that a rabbi will just be stagnant. They won't have new ideas, they won't want change. Your leader is not that person. And I really respect that. I really respect that in Sandy. When he talked about Dad, I admit I cried. Why did I cry? Because there really is a bond that, frankly, when you're a rabbi, you don't see your family a lot. But you really, really learn about respect and what about they bring just to their humanity, just to their friends, their congregation. I mean, look in front of you. You have all these wonderful children who are going to become wonderful leaders in their own congregations with their own friends. And that's because of you. It's because of the religious school here. Now, I've said many, many times, anything that I've done starts with the top. If I said that about Sandy, he would never agree to it. He would always include you first. And for that, I really do respect. So to all of you, especially my number one bro, live long and prosper.
Thank you, Lisa. What I wanted to do is, because we missed the video, I just wanted to look back and see if the video was playing. I just wanted to point out David Mendelson and Rona Mendelson are here somewhere. They are in the video, and we actually, in that video, we'll post it on Facebook and we'll put it on our website. And there was a point where we had the very first time that Rabbi Axelrod was introduced to the congregation for Jen Greenis's bar mitzvah, or bat mitzvah, and Jen is sitting there, and David is introducing him, and Rabbi comes up and tells a joke, of course, and so anyway, but we have that in the video. We'll put that on Facebook and online, and please look for that. And then, of course, Jerry and Yvonne Gordon then say a few words about the history of, what we had to do to get him here and all of that kind of thing, and, how wonderful he is. And then we had, Bruce Matza, Drew Levy, Jackie Rosen. We had all the past presidents talk, so we have a lot on there. So just take a look at that. It's about 3 minutes long. With that, I just wanted to... we have a couple of items. Rabbi, for timing, I'm going to have you just stay there because we're about to do a group activity where everyone is going to be moving in a minute. But what I wanted to show you, we have two things. Number one, best made plans, of course. We ordered a gift for Rabbi. It is coming tomorrow. It was in California over the weekend. It did not make it here this morning. So I have a picture. It is David Gerstein. It is a Jewish modern art sculpture. And of course, we were going to get him Judaica, but we got him something from a Jew anyway. Of course, you all know, because he posts all the time, how he loves to bike ride with his group. So this is a metal art modern sculpture that's about this size. That is of a bike sculpture. So we did get him this. I wanted to show you that. And of course, a lot of you sent in your memories and your pictures for the book that we created, the memory book. So he's going to have this as well. It's not paper. It's going to be actually a hard book. Are you worried? Maggie's worried. It will be a hard book. We are actually getting pictures from David right here of today. We're going to put them in there, and this is going to be an actual gift for him. So you'll all see this. At Yom Kippur, you will see this book and you will see that sculpture, okay? With that, Cantor, I'm going to turn this over to you. Where is she? There she is.
Oh, yeah. That's me and him. No, I actually became bat mitzvah once. It was a long time ago, I promise. What do I say about the rabbi who has changed, supported, and spiritually enhanced the lives of every person in this room, including me? I actually have no idea. I've, went back and forth. I don't know. But every time I tried to write this, I found myself standing on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma with you this past April. For the first time in our history together, I truly saw the side of you that was once a little boy, admiring his father and wanting nothing more than not just to follow in his footsteps, but create an even more meaningful and impressionable one. In your eyes, I saw a child who heard the stories of your dad, the great Rabbi Sidney Axelrod of blessed memory, walking with Martin Luther King Jr., but didn't fully grasp what that meant until you were standing there in his footsteps. Perhaps you wonder if you lived up to his legacy. I hope you know that you have not only lived up to it, you've made your family, your congregation, and your favorite cantor incredibly proud. For 30 years, you were a pioneer rabbi, changing lives one by one. Yes, but also shaping the landscape of the Southern Nevada Jewish community. Your love and passion for social action, interfaith work, and connecting Jews has inspired and engaged multiple generations. You were a large part of the story that led to many of your students becoming rabbis and cantors, including me. And you never turned down an opportunity to help, take leadership, and especially to take action. I could go on for 20 minutes, maybe an hour, but we have to get to Tashlich, so I want to give you a gift. You have blessed us all, time and time again. So it's time for us to surround and bless you with a threefold benediction. So this is going to be quite a task, but we're going to make one huge, giant circle. The rabbi is going to stand right there in the middle, and we're going to bless him. So you received a piece of paper with 3 lines on it. Those are your lines. So I chant in Hebrew, and you say in English. So we're going to get ourselves in a big, giant circle, and we're going to bless the rabbi. Circle's going to go all the way around. The only person in the middle is the rabbi. And Joni, and CJ, and Lisa. Come. All right, I'll know we're ready if everybody's really quiet. They're not the true ones. They're not the true ones. All right. Are you guys ready? You got your strips of paper? If you don't have a strip of paper, it's also up on the screen. All right. All right, you can put your arm around each other, hold hands, whatever you want to do. We got to connect the synergy of our love for the rabbi. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May the Holy One bless and protect you and your family with long life, happiness, and love.
Yair Adonai panav elecha
May the light of the eternal be kind and gracious unto you, that you may thrive as our rabbi for many more years to come. May you be the conduit of our cherished traditions, inspiring Jews from all walks of life to hold fast and protect them.
Yisla Adonai panav eilecha, v'yasem lecha shalom.
May the Master of the universe bestow divine favor upon you and grant you peace throughout your life and the lives of those you touch. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Yehelanu, 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 Ulecha Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'm so deeply touched. Happy and healthy New Year, everybody.